Evening,
Good evening,
everybody.
everybody.
How was everyone tonight? Hi, Marcus. Fancy seeing you here.
Ah, yes, yes, yeah.
What are you
Well,
doing
I
here?
I can now confirm you're a real person now we've met in person. So,
Oh, you? No, no, don't tell them that.
no.
No, it's. I don't want them to know I'm real.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like we said, it was better when I turned away from you and you were just talking. It seemed not as surreal.
I wonder why you was turned your back to me while you were talking. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is well and enjoying this absolutely gorgeous sunny day. Wasn't it just absolutely gorgeous out there? Or was it just me?
Evening, Stace.
Right, so yeah,
Hello,
let's see.
Cheryl.
Oh, he's jumped in there before I could.
Oh, sorry, jumped in.
It's okay, it's not a problem. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Benny. Hi to Stace as well. To Jay, to Michelle, to Alison, to Daniela, to Kathy, to Bev, to Kathy, to Rose, to Amy, to Tony. See, that's how you do it. You just say hi and just ring out the names. Otherwise, you go hi or hello, hello.
Mm.
And it's sort of, ooh, but that's just me. So, how is everybody? Um, I asked Marcus earlier on what any ideas what we would like to talk about, and it was anything really. G'day, Sherry and
Good
Brooklyn.
day.
Hi, Brooklyn, and everybody else. So, if anybody's got any questions or they want us to have a good chinwag about certain things, as long as it's uplifting, we can go down a few rabbit holes, I suppose, Marcus. Don't you think?
Oh, most definitely, and I always say because there's so much out there, isn't there? And especially with the growth of the internet and with the pandemic, and as a spiritualist, I think there's a lot of nonsense out there as well. So let's get some really good questions in. Let's sort of like throw a few myths out of the window.
You talk about the COVID. I don't want to talk about that actually thing, but when it in first lockdown, we saw so many people. Hi, Katie from Scotland. So many people come on and do lives. It was just inundated. Do you think now everybody's allowed to go out and play now? That they're going to be less online? Because I think people's
Um,
going to miss church. They're going to miss that community spirit, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hybrid of both, to be honest with you, because sort of, I think I'm doing a demo with Deb Clark up in Stafford. We're doing a live um, sort of fundraising demo for cancer, and I'm really really looking forward to that. But I also did something online last night for Yat and friends,
Hmm.
and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So I think people are getting used to the online stuff. As we were chatting the other day when we had a coffee, I can remember doing some online stuff, just text in the late 80s. But with a production like this with SBTV, it's so professional that people are expecting. I think they'll continue to expect it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Benny's asking us, did you guys manage to meet up last week? Yes, we did.
Yes, yes. Hello, Veronica.
Yeah, hi, Veronica. And we've got our lovely Joanne has finally put a picture up of herself.
Hello, Suzanne from
Look at that.
Philadelphia.
We can now see what she looks like. Wow,
Who did
wonderful.
who? Sorry, Richard. Who did you
That was
say?
Joanne, the lovely
Joanne.
Joanne. Yeah, she
Oh,
comes
hello,
on all the
Joanne.
time. Yeah, so it's nice to put her face to the picture now, as they say. Yeah, we're in the UK streaming. It's about eight. We're just leaving Brooklyn White, and she's got face masks on, looking very. I don't know what you say about that.
Well, when they come off, they're supposed to be very pretty and very alluring with the skin. That's all. Hello,
maybe
Kelly.
maybe we should put some of them on then.
Well, oh, definitely. Well, once I don't know if you can see. There's photos in the background
Yeah,
there, and we went to Turkey once, and we had the mud bath.
yeah.
Plastered ourselves in one. Hello, John.
Hi, Kathy from
Yes,
Florida. Yeah.
yeah, Brooklyn, definitely a Valley boy. Definitely a Valley boy.
Brooklyn's asking Marcus, are you a Valleys boy?
Yes, I am. Yes, yeah, from the Cynnon Taff Valley. Well, it's funny really because when I grew up, I'm from Nelson in South Wales. It's between Caerphilly and Merthyr, and we used to call it. And I played rugby for the Rhymney Valley, but now it's called the Cynnon Taff politically. So,
Yeah, don't say that quick when you're drunk, will you? But
okay, well,
I've got a sister-in-law who's Welsh,
oh,
and whenever I go round there, or I call her, for example, she always says, "I'll be right there now in a minute." And
that's
I
right.
sit there
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah, 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 yeah,
"Hey, how does that work? How are you going to be right
yeah.
there now in a minute?" So does
I
now in a
know.
minute? It's like I'm confused.
I know. My wife used to go crazy when I used to say that. Oh yeah, yeah. Now in a minute. The best one is, well, you see these those two houses up there. You can see the one on the left and you can see the one on the right. Well, I'm the one in the middle. Oh, you're from Merthyr, Brooklyn. Oh, wow, I know Merthyr very well. Well, I used to because I'm living in Coventry
Calendar
now.
as well.
But yeah,
She's from kind of, we get them all from all around the world, here on this channel.
yeah, no, it's fantastic. Come on, I hope. But that's Blackwood. My niece lives in Bargood, and God, that's my neck of the woods, Blackwood. God. And my sister lives in Penpederiel.
Yeah, Tays asked you a very good question there. Did your grandmother have the gift too?
Oh, yeah. Well, what can I say? What can I say? I don't class it as a gift. I really don't class it as a
No,
gift.
I
It's an
understand it's
ability.
ability. Yeah, I've always said
It's an
that as well.
ability. And the Welsh, we call it second sight.
Yep,
So,
I've
and
heard
I,
that
and I
expression.
honestly believe everybody's got it. It's depending on how you develop your abilities. And that's not to be controversial, but to me, it's not a gift. It's not a gift. Definitely not a gift.
Yeah. So what would you say then if someone wanted? Oh, by the way, everybody, Marcus runs our VIP evenings fortnightly, bi-weekly, as they say in America, bi-weekly, fortnightly on a Sunday evening to teach mediumship development. So if you are interested, it is only open for VIPs. All the information is on our website on how to become a VIP. So Marcus, if what would your advice be if someone wanted to start up mediumship? If
Oh,
it wasn't if it wasn't doing, because I hear so many mediums say meditate. Let's take meditate
oh,
out of the way because a lot of people can't do
oh,
it. So
oh
what
God, yeah,
what would be the
yeah.
very, very, very first steps you would advise?
Personally, I always say to be a medium, you only need three things, and that's discipline, discipline, and discipline. Meditation is great, and meditation is great for your own self, but I wouldn't say meditation for me, to develop mediumship, to put you in an altered state of consciousness, yes. But I can remember, and a lot of the classes that I've taught, people are sitting there and you take them on a little guided meditation, that's fine. But if years ago, they used to sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes in meditation to develop. And I'm thinking, that's personal development. That's not developing mediumship. Because you don't need your eyes closed to be, to pick up the images and the sound patterns and the feelings, and it's recognizing how spirit is sending information to you, and that's the biggest thing.
So
And
how can
that's
you
why, yeah,
sorry to
sorry.
interrupt you. So how can you define what is your thoughts and what are spirits? A spirit's
Well,
information.
that
How would you know
yeah,
the
but
difference?
that's yeah, but that's the biggie, isn't it? That is the biggie, and the thing is that because quite often everybody's got negativity within them instead of positivity. With that negativity, they're always saying, "Oh, is it me? Is it me? Is it me?" Well, that's good because that's your quality control. But the
Mm.
thing is, unless you're prepared to use it, unless you're prepared to try it, and usually this is why development circles are a good way of doing it because you're in a secure, safe atmosphere because nobody's going to be judgmental. But then when you put things forward, Marcus, you visually see spirits as well as feeling. Yes, I do. Sorry, the comments are coming a bit fast and fierce. Personally, I just saw a question there. Uh, I use clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and meditation is good for the individual, but quite often my style of teaching is not all about meditation. Uh, there's a classic, Susan saying, I fall asleep when I try to meditate. Well, the thing is, all you have to do is get in that slightly altered state of consciousness to allow spirit to come forward and to allow that ability, your own ability, to come to the fore. And then it's practice. And quite often it's, you make mistakes, and yes, it might be your own mind cutting in. But don't forget, spirit use your own mind as well.
For
Let's
any
be honest.
newbie out there, what do you mean by circle? Is it a bunch of people sitting around in a circle on chairs? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Literally, traditionally, I mean, it's a circle atmosphere because there's no head to it. There's no head. There's no. Although you get like a circle leader, and you get some very, very good circle leaders, but you also get some really bad
Circle
ones
leader is
as well.
someone who sort of protects you, guides you, or what's
Yeah,
circle then?
yeah, yeah. Right, you sort of runs the circle, and quite often, a lot of the budding mediums, budding psychics, they will go to what we call open circles, and that's where anybody can go, or used to be able to go before the pandemic, to either to a spiritualist church, spiritual center, and just go and practice your abilities. I mean, I sat in an open circle for every Monday for 18 months, not realizing what I was picking up.
Hmm.
Thank you for that. I had someone who had certainly joined mine leave because they said we didn't do enough meditation. Well, Mary, meditation's for the individual, and some parts of development in your development, maybe linking with those groups of people that help you in spirit is good. Guided meditation is good
Hmm.
because it puts you in that place. But I can remember sitting in an open circle and a development circle, thinking, "What the hell's going on? Yeah, I'm ready, ready to work. Why am I sitting here? And that's where the discipline comes in.
Do you
I love
think
an open
that?
circle, really enjoy. Oh, well done, Bev. Well done.
Yeah. Do you feel that spirit, if you're beginning and they feel that you are not ready, would they stop you from? Would
Who
they say,
who
right,
who who
spirit?
believes who believes you're not ready?
Pardon? No,
You
no. I'm
said
just saying, if you're being, let's say, I've been doing mediumship now for 6 months, let's say,
yeah.
and I'm not getting anything through. I can't find it. Just nothing's happening. Would that be me blocking that, or would that be spirit saying you're not in the right frame of mind? You're not ready to communicate with us yet to
Well,
protect you, sort of thing.
personally, I would say that you're just not recognizing how they're sending the information, and this is one of the biggest pitfalls of developing your abilities is because people are stretching, because there's so many misconceptions out there, so much nonsense out there as well, really, that people expect to see a person, or they expect to see it in a way. They stretch in for that image, whereas spirit might be sending you a little feeling or a little sound pattern, and it's developing those particular abilities and practicing them, and then you become aware of how you're receiving it, because we're all different. We're all different, and I always say, just be the best you. Don't try to copy someone else. Just be you. You know, say
Watching
give
all
what
the
you have, even if it's the most strange thing. That's right, Bev, but in a responsible way.
yeah, I find speaking to a lot of people on SBTV, be it mediums, be it viewers, and a lot of people say they start when they realise what they're receiving is when they're starting to doze off. They've closed their mind, they're laying in bed, and they actually physically hear a different voice coming in, talking to them.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, I believe that's
Well,
because you're just, using your conscious mind or your subconscious mind. You're just relaxing. You're not thinking of anything, and it's their time to communicate. So if they can do that while you're on a subconscious sort of level, or conscious level, depends how you define it,
Yeah.
how, so you know it's not your mind because it's a different voice. It's totally different. So when drawn a day, would you, as a medium yourself, do you get different voices, or do you just get a feeling that someone's there? How do you actually work with spirit, Marcus?
Well, the thing is, this is where the discipline comes in, Richard. Because the thing is, I can remember a very good friend of mine. She's in spirit now. She works with me periodically, Barbara West. But she was like a dripping psychic. Every minute of the day, she was giving, and the quality of the information then goes down. This is to my mind, and this is where you need to install the discipline. And I think someone just says, you give the information no matter how strange it is, but you have to give it in a responsible way. Because if you just constantly giving information, this, that, and the other, then it's like just throwing a pack of cards up in the air and just choosing one of them. It's, if you're using your ability for the right reason, and look at why you want to use your abilities. What's the reason that you want to use your abilities? If you're using a psychic ability to read cards, that's fine. But if you want to develop it as a medium, why do you want to develop as a medium? And really, if you want to develop as a medium, it is because you want to prove survival. And that should be the end goal. All the rest of it is just there, but it's proving survival. And when you've proved survival, and this is only a personal views, don't want to be controversial. When you've proved survival, yeah, but when you prove survival, then the responsibility is on the person that's had that evidence. It's up to them to structure their lives around that knowledge. So sitting in power is for certain meditation for yourself. How far do you have to sit? Still your mind for sitting in power. I can sit and forget I have physical, but I can't turn my thoughts off. Yeah, but the thing is, Michelle, it is looking at where they send in your thoughts. If you can't turn your thoughts off, and even if it sounds like your own voice in your own head, then the thing is to go with that and then question it, whether it's thoughts, whether it's sound patterns, or whether it's feelings. And it's the interpretation of that that gives you the information. And, a lot of people want to develop as mediums, and it's not glamorous, Richard. It's it's not glamorous stuff. It's hard work.
Yeah, if you want to become a medium, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be no money. You're going to be ill all the time. You're going to be stressed.
Oh, yeah,
I'm messing.
I'm happy all the time. I'm happy all the time. So
yeah, but you've been smoking a wacky packy. I saw you do it earlier on. So yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! No.
He didn't really. No. I didn't really. Anybody, just in case anybody.
Well, no, caffeine's my drug. I mean, I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol. But caffeine's my drug. I must admit. To be constantly passing messages is not good as your exactly, Mary. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you very much, Christine. I'm the signpost, Christine, and quite often I just recognize how people are receiving the information. Definitely dedication there. Definitely, 100%. So looking at where you want to do it.
So what do you feel that this is turning into more like an interview show? Sorry, Marcus.
No, that's all right.
When you see, let's say, a medium has only had 2 months, and I'm not saying that's an issue. Some brilliant mediums out there for only 2 months, but they're not disciplined. Disciplined as in with the mind, with the information that they give. And then people just say, "Oh, I just receive it and give it." But should they pause before they give it? Should they, because they have to be responsible what they said, because they could say something, and it could be so negative without them realizing it.
Well, quite often I've seen TOP serve with the best house. Quite often I've seen, and I'm sure that a lot of other people have seen working mediums on the platform and whatever, and I look at them and I think, why are you doing it? Why are you giving this this toss out? And just carry on keeping the taking the medication really, because the thing is, as a media, well, that's true, but it's true, Richard. We look, we've got a cranky element that attaches itself to the movement. We always have had, and especially through the pandemic, like we were saying, everybody's online, everybody's doing this, and the problem is, in this country, we've got no regulation to do with mediumship, none
But
at all.
but then again, neither does any other religions.
Well, yes, okay, but then mediumship to me is not a religion; it's an ability.
But it comes under the umbrella, though, doesn't it?
Hello, Rose. There. So he comes under what, Richard?
Doesn't mediumship come as a faith, a religion? Let's put it. Doesn't that come under that?
Oh, I wouldn't say mediumship comes as a faith. Mediumship's an ability. I mean, all different religions use mediumship in some way, shape, or form. It's just that they don't, I mean, as I said, I class them as abilities, and a lot of people class them as gifts. But then, if you look at some of the Christian faiths or the Muslim faiths, the Sufis, they do a lot of chanting. They enter into a different state of consciousness. Do we have regulation for mediumship, the consumer protection? Oh, right. Yeah, fair enough, Tim. Yeah, okay. The consumers protection regulation, but then looking at that as quite often now, churches just turn around. They say this is an experiment, and then all of a sudden the consumers protection regulations out of the window. Because they say this is an experiment. We can't guarantee this. We can't guarantee that. So all of a sudden, the consumers protection regulation goes out the window. If you're entering into a contract with someone for a paid contract, then Tim, you are right. There's
So
no
then,
doubt about that.
using your background, because you're a counsellor, I believe,
Yes, yeah, I'm a
politician.
political animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where does it come to? You just pop it onto something there. You just mentioned about if you're paying for a service. So if I pay a medium, let's say £40 for half an hour reading, and I think it's a load of rubbish,
Yes.
am I under my legal obligation to say I'm not paying you? That was awful. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied.
It depends on what that contract with that particular medium is whether they've tried to prove survival or whether you've asked for a specific reading, because this is where the crossover between psychics. It's a belief now they have Christian spiritual. They always have, Joanne, the Christian spiritualist churches, and or what's the other one? The Corinthians. They were another one. But the thing is, a lot of people go for readings. I can remember doing a day of readings in Walsall Church, and I went over there, because I only do private readings for sort of like for charity. And I went there and I gave this lady, and I had her husband there, and I gave her all the information. I got his name, I got this, that, and the other, right at the end of it. And I said, I hope you got something out of that. She said, well, can you tell me if I'm going to move or not? And I says, well, I'm not here for that. I said, have I proved that I've communicated with your husband? Oh, yeah, that's definitely him. He did that. And she went on and on and on. Yeah, rubber stamped everything. And said, but can you tell me if I'm going to move or not? And I said, well, no, that's not my job. And she was quite affronted by it. And I'm thinking, well, you come to a spiritualist church, you come to a medium, the medium's job is to prove survival. That's it. That's all the medium's job is.
So then, did she say, because you never told me I was going to move, I'm not going to pay you because that's what I wanted? Is it because people want to hear certain things?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah, but that would be between her and the church secretary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand that. I understand. But I can remember Matt and Kirsty saying, because they're brilliant, and they, because everybody has a good day and a bad day, and they say, well, if your customers doesn't think that you provided that service, they wouldn't charge.
Yeah,
which is just being responsible, isn't it?
I think for me is when you go, for example, to some companies who sell products.
Yeah.
and online products as well, they have a rating system. So if you don't like it, then you can rate it. Say, don't buy this headphones, but the sound is not very good, and they're cheaply made. And people
Yeah.
listen to that. And that's one of the reasons why I built in a review and comment section under the SBTV's new directory. So
Yes.
any
Yes. Yeah.
mediums out there, please register. It's completely free. And once you're registered, if I go on and say, right, I want to book Marcus, then I can rate you and review you. And
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
reviews and comments are read by us first before it goes live, just to make sure that no one's spamming or um, causing more mischief than we want to. But it's a way to protect the medium and to protect the person, the client, at the same time. It's to earn that reputation, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have constructive feedback as well, isn't it? I was
Yeah.
just looking at Brooklyn's question here. How can mediums be 100% sure that it's actually the spirit energy that they're receiving and not the energy of the person they are reading? But does it matter, Brooklyn? Does it really matter if it's 100% the spirit energy? Because when spirit are communicating with you, they're using your energy, they're using your thoughts, they're using your experiences to get information across. So, for example, if you're getting a sound from spirit and then you pick up something from the individual, it's an interblend of the energies and it's an interblend of the abilities, because you're also using your psychic ability as well as your mediumistic ability.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the evidence, it's the end product that determines whether you prove survival or not. And that's what mediumship needs to get to. It's about evidence, you know, and getting that feedback, like Richard just said, where we all have good days and bad days, but it is having constructive criticism, being able to look at the constructive criticism and then changing yourself to, within your own parameters, obviously, to sort of try to go forward. Oh, look at that, lovely. I nearly went to Stonehenge when I was down there, down your neck of the woods. But sorry, I just missed Tim's comments there. Could
Yeah,
you
because
but are you charging for your mediumship? Are you charging for your, but are you charging for your mediumship? Are you charging for, again, Tim, if you enter into a contract with someone and you have told them that you're charging X amount, and usually it's for your time, isn't it? It's saying I'm going to do a half-hour reading, and that person enters into that contract with that person, and they would either have that either by recommendation. It might be mediumship, it might be card reading, it might be anything. Everybody's different, and usually you know what type of reading you want. And to be honest with you, I think too many people have too many readings. To be honest, personally,
mm.
personally. And spirits physically touch us over the last figure thought my duvet tagged down, but I'm not sure if it's my mind playing. A bit of both, Tony, really, mate. Sort of, yes, they can. Yes, they can use the clairsentient side of your nature and give you smells, give you feelings. So, yes, you can feel as if someone's blowing something or even touching you. Talking about that, I remember my wife was standing by the sink in our old house, and the door opened and closed 3 times. And I said, did you see that? She said, oh, it's just my mum telling me the carpet's just arrived. So yes, they can move things, but again, it's down to the individual how they receive it. My hand moved and I heard strange tapping noise in my room. Yeah, so say to them, Tony, do this, do that, or try this, try that. If it's getting a bit too heavy, or you think it's a bit too close, just say step back a little bit, because that's the discipline. That's the discipline. If you say no, step back, whoomp, they're gone, mate. They're gone.
I think it's. Go on. Sorry. No, you please carry on.
Yeah, and then by the same token, and this is where I always say people are like on a roller coaster ride. They get the excitement. They get the excitement. Oh, spirit are close to me. Spirit are close to me. I don't want it. But then they get the excitement and the adrenaline's running, and it's learning how to discipline that. I can remember doing this guy phoned me. Oh, this is about 20 years ago. He'd had everybody in to exercise the house and do this, and oh God, priests in and everything else. And I went down there, and within half an hour, I asked him a few questions, and I said, "Well, where's all this activity happening?" He said, "Oh, it's up in my room, up in the bedroom." I said, "Oh, let's go up there then." And he was a musician. He's very creative type, and he said, "Oh, it always happens in here." And I said, "Well, just tell me what's happened." He says, "Well, one night I've told him, I said, if you're there, show yourself and prove it to me." And they started moving things. And I said, "Well, you asked them to. You asked them to." And all of a sudden now, different things are happening, and it was fitting him. You know, he was scaring him a little bit. So I says, all you have to do now is say, right, oh, I understand that you get, you know, you're sending this information, and then all of a sudden, end of problem, end of a problem. Too bad we can't train sitters on the difference between psychic and media. Yeah, Darius, you're right there. Darius, you're right there. But don't forget, all abilities is an interblend of the both. You know, psychic and mediums are no higher than psychics. They're on the same level, exact same level, in my eyes, anyway.
And that's a quote what Jane says. She believes, Jane Morton, who does her counselling evenings here on a Tuesday evening, she believes you can't be a psychic without being a medium, and you can't be a medium without being a psychic.
Oh, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. You can be a psychic and not be a medium, but you cannot be a medium without a psychic ability. It's, you know, a lot. I know a couple of really, really good psychics that would run a mile if they thought that they were communicating with spirit. They would absolutely run a mile. They really would. So I'd slightly disagree with that. You know, you can be a psychic without being a medium, without developing a mediumistic ability. One is not higher than the other. They're just different. Exactly, Darius. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And the thing is, within the spiritualist movement, if people understood that, then it would be a happier place, because they try to put mediums on a pedestal, and they're not. They're not. They're exactly the same. Absolutely exactly the same. And the thing is, it's just looking at what you do, and you can get an absolutely fantastic psychic that will give you perfect information of what you want. And then by the same token, you'll get a medium. And this is why I've got to keep on about it. Mediums are there to prove survival. When they've done that, they've done that job. They've done their job. And the highest form of mediumship is healing. The highest form of mediumship, to my mind. To my mind. Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums. Yeah, exactly, Darius. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that comment, Darius. Yeah. Yeah, we are shaking it up a bit tonight, aren't we, Richard?
Yeah. So what do you do if someone says to you that they don't agree with your views? I know people would turn around and say it's your own opinion and they're right to it. Do you feel that there's too many mediums out there given their own opinion and could be causing more damage?
Oh, there's a lot of mediums that cause a lot of damage. There's no doubt about it. And because the problem is a lot of mediums put across information in an irresponsible way, and they are saying as if it's 100% fact, and it's not. You know, their opinion is not fact. Like I say, my teaching style, when I'm teaching psychic and mediumistic development, it doesn't suit everybody, because a lot of them don't want that discipline. I love communicating, no one I can have there. Yeah, exactly, Pamela. It's brilliant. Yeah. And the thing is, Pamela, that's the crux of it. You've got to love it. You've got to enjoy it. If you enjoy the spirit communication, you understand at times it's hard work. You understand at times that you'll have your highs and lows, but the help that you can give someone, that's what it's all about. And you're going back to it where Richard, where a lot of mediums will say, "Oh, and psychics and people, it's the fake ones that cause the damage." Yes, they do, Stace. Huge amount of damage. Um,
But this is
and
where, sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but
go
this
on.
is where we're going back again, saying should there be a body um, that watches what we're doing? We've got Ofcom, we've got Ofsted, and we've got other organisations out there. Should there be a one for medium? So if someone's turns around and says, I'm a medium, I'm going to sell my abilities to give readings, or I'm going to go live or whatever, they should
Mm.
be, under some umbrella for some kind of insurance to protect everybody, to prove that they can communicate if they are fraudulent. Do you think that would stop or reduce the amount of frauds that are on Facebook? And I don't mean to be
Ah,
cruel, but there are hundreds on there.
that's a difficult one, Richard, because the thing is, in America, they have certain bodies, don't they? I remember when I went to Las Vegas, and sort of big family thing. Went to Las Vegas for my 60th, and had a great time. I saw a spiritualist church there, so I thought, oh, I'm going to go to this, have a look. And I went there, and I chatted. Lovely, lovely people, and they said, "Oh, you can come to our open night." We were talking about me being a medium. They said, "Oh, are you affiliated to the SNU or this, that, or the other?" I said, "Well, no, I'm not." And in America, within a certain range of churches, very similar to the SNU, very similar to the SAGB, the Corinthians, and all the other ones, the different, exactly, Rose, 100%. Different ones would never agree, and they said that's the point. You
Yeah,
must be
but let's say
psychic.
there was no different organisations. Let's say there's one, for example, there's only one for schools. There's only one for
Yeah, but
television, sort
yeah,
of thing.
but Rose has just hit it on the head, hasn't she? And I was getting to that point. I think Rose must be psychic somehow, because the problem you've got breakaways, haven't you? You've got the SNU that used to say that if you get a CSNU certificate in the Spiritualist National Union, and it's a good teaching thing. It's a good teaching thing. There's no doubt about it. But if you went down that line, you could only serve SNU churches. Now, a lot of the mediums that go through the SNU churches still serve other churches. But to sign a paper to say at the time, and this was in the 80s and the 90s, that you would only work with SNU churches would close the doors to your mediumship. Mark, so all the groups you have, Marcus, and all the groups, do you have a favourite celebrity psychic? I love watching with you. No, I don't, Brooklyn. To be
Right,
honest with you, oh yes, I do. I do. I do. I do. I do.
can I just
I was
pop
about
in
to
on that one?
say no. It's Rachel. Rachel Palmistry.
Yeah.
I love her to bits.
Now, when you say on YouTube, are you talking about the lives on YouTube, Brooklyn, or are you talking about the stuff that's been pre-recorded? Let's just keep to the pre-recorded one. As you know, my background, or those who don't know, my background was in television. I used to be a TV producer and a director. And I can honestly tell you, when you watch television, it is not real. Even this reality television,
Yeah.
it is not real.
It's
It is
edited.
all, yeah, it is all planned. And if they say, oh, it's not, it is. They have scripts. They do so much. They plant seeds. It is not real to a degree. But when they watch a television show like Psychics, and I know this through experience, they will record the show and they will edit out nearly every single no. They will edit out, they may turn around and say, I have someone here called George. And the recipient might say, no, I don't know a George. Then later on during the show, um, they might just come out, the recipient might just come out and say, oh, I can take that. I know. Yeah, that makes sense. And what with that
Oh,
one bit,
Rachel!
there you go, they would actually take that snippet and put it to the answer, do you know a George? Yes, I can, that makes sense. I understand that. And it doesn't, it was never the original part of the actual show. So this is what they do. They manipulate the answers to make it look good. You got to remember, there's millions of dollars,
Hi, Rachel.
mainly American, who come on and do these type of shows to boost someone's ego. It's all about money over there and over here as well. It's about creating an entertainment show that you will then go and watch when this person's on tour to make them a lot wealthier. I know a couple of mediums who was very well known in the past before they all went live, and they would go to a local guild hall, and you think, oh, it's only £25, £15. They would walk out that night with around 25 to 40,000 pound in one night, because people watched their television shows, thought it was fantastic, and because it was manipulated. That's what they do. Because the manager, the medium, I'm not saying all do this, don't get me wrong, but the majority of them will do that because it's classed as entertainment. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know that's a bit long-winded, but I hope that makes you understand a bit more, Brooklyn. When you're watching these fantastic mediums, please bear in mind a lot of it is edited to make them look good.
I, I don't know who asked whether I had a celebrity psychic or not. I can't. Have we got that? Can we have a look at that comment again?
Which comment was that one? Sorry.
Somebody said, "Oh, have you got, with all the TV things, have you got a celebrity psychic?" And I said no, but then I
Hi,
said, "Oh
Terry.
yes."
Oh, you Brooklyn.
Oh, was it Brooklyn? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Brooklyn. I don't really have a. That's the one. Do you have a celebrity psychic? I'll watch that. No, I don't, Brooklyn. But the person I absolutely love, and she's just come on here now, is Rachel from Rachel Palmer Street. When she's working on SBTV, no matter what I'm doing, I'd always try to listen in. And I had a palm reading done for him on the last show, and it was absolutely brilliant. And in fact, because Rachel's on there, I can carry on talking because you can hear. I just got to leave. Give me a second.
He's done a runner.
No, I haven't. No. I'm just going to get something. I'm just going to get you something because Rachel said about painting.
Yeah.
Can you remember that, Richard? Yeah.
I do. She was giving you a palm reading on Tuesday, just gone.
Yeah, and nobody knows about this other than my close family, my wife, maybe my daughter, and I did this 25 years ago.
Oh, beautiful.
And that was sitting behind my sofa when Rachel was giving me the palm reading. It was absolutely brilliant palm reading. So, in answer to your question, Brooklyn, I've been a working medium since 1985. I haven't got a celebrity psychic, but I have now, and it's Rachel. So there you go. I don't mind embarrassing Rachel. You're all right.
And Tim, some of the best mediums you'll ever see in your local spiritual. Yeah, absolutely. It's those.
100% Tim.
Stay sure, Richard's fake readings are awful. They are awful, yeah.
Awesome.
They're awful as well. I told everybody they're going to win the lottery. And no one has yet.
That was a Freudian slip, that, wasn't it?
No, my fake ones, and they're just a giggle and a good laugh, and it just shows that you can have a laugh with it. That's what I say, and you need to.
Yeah, but I've met you now, Richard. Thank you, Pamela. It's still not finished because I didn't finish the tale, but that's 25 years later. But now I've met you, Richard, and there's a couple of the stories you told me that I now know why your fake readings are awesome.
No, I think you got to see. For me, I've always had this bugbear that when you go and see a medium, they feel as though not the medium but the recipient feels as though they're going to tell them and make their life brilliant and everything's going to be perfect. Now, I'm not saying that it will, because obviously some people it does. But for me, I think mediumship, and this is my own view, and I'll probably be shot down here, mediumship is about let's get those teeth back in.
We were talking about teeth the other day, weren't we?
We were, yeah. It's all about proving life after body death.
Exactly.
It's not about giving the message what's happening tomorrow, because there's about this time thing, and I won't get into that now. But it's nice when they come through and they have a chinwag with you, because I would rather have my family come through and just sit there, ask how I've been, what I've been up to, ask what they've been up to. For me, that's what I think, in my view, mediumship's about. And it would be nice when I hear mediums say, I've given you the evidence, and this is Ashley Robinson, for example.
Yeah.
He says that in all of his readings, he gives the evidence. He then asks your permission, excuse me, if he can pass on a message from the loved one. And it's not about you go and walk the dog tomorrow, or you're going to buy a new car. It's just asking how they are. If they was on the earth plane and you went around to see them, they give you some guidance. If it's your parents or your friends, they give you guidance. And in my view, this is exactly what they're doing, but over the other side, if that makes sense. But that's my point of view.
Yeah, actually, yes, which is about putting the content, but it's also about the spiritual. If you like healing, yeah, Tim, you're right, and but you know the end product of mediumship is about proving survival. And as Richard said, and quite often, a lot of the evidence that is given is those tiny little things that people knew. That, you know, yes, no one else would know that. And, you know, that person who's come and given you that memory, or the way they used to act, the way they used to talk, the way they used to, you know, they just be themselves, because they are still themselves. That's the beauty of it.
It's all about growth, isn't it? It's all about growing, learning, and understanding. And I think once you have that understanding in yourself, then I feel that you can grow as a human and also spiritually.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I definitely grow spiritually. You know, I think when you've got that evidence of survival, then you grow, you structure your life around that knowledge, and then everything becomes a battle.
Kelly's just saying, I always knew that you were a medium, Richard. Well, I tell you what, Kelly, my belly is starting to become a large. Boom, boom. It's all those crumbles. I love making apple and rhubarb crumble. Oh God, what's your favorite meal? Let's move away from this boring
sticky
subject.
Toffee pudding. Whenever
Really?
I see it on the menu, sticky toffee pudding.
So we usually, when I go to a restaurant, and I would sit there, and if they have crumble or an apple pie or something, I'll say, "Can I have custard with some pie, please?"
Oh no, that's my evidence. That was my evidence.
Was
Custard.
it really?
Honestly, 100%. No ifs or buts about it. My 100% evidence was when I was sitting in Parkside Church. I always used to sit at the back, you know, just as you do, because I was a young man at the time. And and it was my granddad that came through, and it was the fact that he told me about custard and the type of custard. That was my 100% evidence that it was my granddad that was talking to me.
Wow.
Yeah. It was funny that you see. Look at that. You just mentioned custard. See, apple crumble custard.
Yeah, we started off the conversation of food. Now Tim's talking about angel cakes.
You guys love not angel cakes now. No, can't be doing with those angel cakes.
50 minutes.
No, we don't want to go into the angel bit.
Yeah. I think Kirsty and Matt are doing an angel workship, aren't they, soon? So.
Oh wow! Yeah. I mean, the basis of spiritualism is the ministry of angels. There's no doubt about it. But why is everybody working with the same one?
Don't know. But Catherine's just said, please don't mention apple crumble, but you just did.
Yeah.
Anyway, and why Richard is my camera shy. It's because I don't have any cameras. It's funny, when we had the studio, we had all the big cameras, but I don't have the software. It's on a big PC, and all my cameras are packed away. I don't have a webcam. They're all professional cameras. That's my excuse, and I keep all of it. The answer is not going to come on camera. I have been though. I was
Well, you
on this.
have
I was
when we were doing the things in the studio,
yeah, and stuff in the
and you
studio.
had to keep
Oh,
on going up and getting that cat ball when it was
yeah.
flying off about the place. Yeah.
Just to remind people, on the 25th of June, Bill and I are getting together for a special evening of a sofa watch as
Oh
well.
wow! Oh wow!
What we're
Oh,
going to do, we're going
brilliant!
to get that segment where the cushions fell down and the cat ball flew across the room and moving around
Yeah, yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So we're going to talk about that and we're going to enhance it live on air so you can see what I'm doing, so we can see if there's any shadows and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, I think on one of the playbacks it did look as if someone was standing behind the sofa and they were just trying to materialize.
Yeah, because Bill said
Yeah,
his niece or daughter, I can't remember which one it was now, played it back and enhanced it through her software,
yeah, yeah,
and you could see a shadow by the cushion as it fell.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, I could have got that wrong, but that I think that's what he said.
No,
So
no, no. I think yeah, yeah. I'm sure that I'm definitely 100%. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well,
There
so
you go.
broadcast cameras is the term you're looking for, Richard. Benny, no, don't get them all confused. They wouldn't know about this terminology. Keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah. But especially with a lot of the cameras and with a lot of um, online stuff now, there's a huge amount of orbs about, aren't there? Huge amount,
All
huge
dust.
amount. Well, yeah, it does. But if you look at quite often when you're saying something or you're stating something, it's how would they come? Um, my best friend died a few months ago, and he was Catholic, and I was lucky enough to go to the um, funeral because the daughters and two daughters and the wife said, look, you were his best mate, so we want you along. And I went there, and you're standing there in the Catholic, and the thing is with the Catholics, you just need to know when to stand up and sit down and do the bits and bobs and whatever. And I was there, and obviously, being a medium, I was aware that he was about and all this, that, and the other. And then I saw the playback. I saw the playback of his funeral, and his wife knows that I'm a medium, and I left it a week or so, and I says, well, what you want to have a look at is when one of the daughters is talking, and she mentions me, an orb comes down, hits her on the head, and then exits left or right or whatever. And it's the fact of when it happened and how it happened. That they all are there, but then just reconfirming something that she said or something or Marcus Bobo come down, just touched an exit. And it's those type of orbs that when it's doing something and it's either affirming or reaffirming what's being said at the particular time. And there's a lot of those about, a lot of them.
Yeah. When we did the trance evening with Polly and we had the infrared cameras on, and we could see, it was quite lucky because we had a dust go by, and then we had some kind of insect go by.
Yeah.
Then we had an orb coming out of Polly and the woman sitting opposite. And the way that worked, it came out, went vertically up. Obviously, it would go up vertically, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it shot to the left-hand side, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
paused. An insect wouldn't do that, a bit of
Yeah.
dust wouldn't do that. So it was, for us, it was nice evidence to
Oh
see
yeah.
spirit
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah, you've obviously got to look at the different physical aspects. Is this about? Is that about? Or whatever. Of course you do. But as I said, quite often a lot of the orbs are when people are either saying something or they're doing something, and it's as if spirit are coming down saying, "Yep, yeah, we'll take that one. We'll take that one," which is good, and it's lovely to see them. It's lovely to see.
Mm. Have
I
you
remember
had?
when I was sorry.
So have you had any physical mediumship?
In what respect?
Um, Seen spirit direct, literally as a human, for example, full
Not
blown medium.
not a fully materialized. I sat every Thursday for 8 years. helping to develop a materialization medium. I was running that circle for I was invited. They'd been running a couple of years. And I always said to Spirit, I said, look, I want a circle. I said, oh, you'll be invited by letter. So somebody asked me, they said, oh, will you come along and see what this medium's about? And I says, yeah, okay, I will. And the lady wrote me a letter to invite me there. Said, oh, we were talking to you and all this. So I knew it was the right circle. And we had a lot of phenomena. But the problem was we were starting to take it out into the churches. We did one at Cheltenham Church, which was very successful. And there was a lot of physical phenomena there. There's a lot of transfiguration and everything else. But it was in the development stage. And the sad thing was the medium was ill when we booked this one for Leamington Church, in fact. And I said to her, I said, look, we should cancel it. No. And I said, look, you've got to cancel it because you're ill. And she said, well, ask my guide then. So she went into trance, and then we had this other trance medium in deep trance given direction. And I asked her, because I knew the answer. And I just said, look, should we go ahead? And they said, well, there's always another day. There's always another day. So 100% she shouldn't have sat. She shouldn't have sat at this demo, but she wanted to. So they sat. And the congregation thought it was marvelous. Oh, brilliant. Look at this. We saw this. We saw this. We saw that. Absolutely no evidence whatsoever. None whatsoever. And after that, the circle finished. And that person never, ever developed any further. And after 8 years, that was 8 years work going into that one. But out of that circle came so many other things. It was because the ego would cut in, oh, look at this, I'm this. And it's not about that. It takes dedication. Physical mediumship takes dedication.
Tony's been saying, Tony Levard, is my partner seen mist forming in her daughter's room after losing her mother 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Would you say that's a possibility of that being spirit coming in?
Oh, definitely. And the thing is, it's recognizing what it is. I'm not saying it, 100% it is, but there's a damn good chance it is. And then you've got to notice where your thought patterns, your feelings are going at that particular time. Not just saying, oh, I saw something and that was it. It's see where your thought pattern's taken. I was on the circle house cage, watched a regular light and Japanese girl fully materials front. Oh wow, that's good.
Tim was saying, for just everybody who's on YouTube, Tim's saying, I was running a circle in a house in Cambridge once in a regular light, and a young Japanese girl fully materialized in front of us. All acknowledged everybody in the circle when dematerialized. See, that's another thing that gets me. Excuse me. Going back years ago, everybody, when they did some type of trance or transfiguration, they all sat in front of a red light or lamp. They sat in like a little cubicle, a little box sort of thing, all black, your cabinet, all blacked out, black cloth, lights off. Why? Is it because just to get the feeling there's something different or something special happening? No, we can sit here and we can see materialization. We've seen transfiguration and so forth. We've run our eyes just sitting here. So do you think it was done for a show?
No, I think especially with materialization and when they're using ectoplasm and various different things for the transfiguration. And I've been lucky enough to see some fantastic transfiguration where I was literally maybe 2 feet away from the sitter because it was in a house and it was so cramped. And literally, this lady, a full beard came on there, and it was really, really, really good. But then when I've been teaching psychic mediumistic development, we do a little exercise to do with transfiguration to see the energy levels and the faces forming and everything else. Because quite often when you're in that type of environment, you've got to understand a lot of people are using their own abilities, their clairvoyant abilities as well. Now, from what Tim said earlier, everybody saw that figure. Now that is materialization. If everybody sees the same thing, that and fully formed, that is materialization. But if people are seeing different things on the medium's face or whatever, if people are seeing different things, quite often that's their own abilities, the clairvoyant abilities, seeing that and interpreting that energy. Was said the cabinet is a value of psychological medium sitting at the kind of structure with all the spiritual energy point where it becomes compatible with physical phenomena. Yeah, Tim, I 80% agree with that. 80% agree with that. Yeah, a cabinet has value as much as maybe not psychologically, but when the medium sitting in the kind of structure, the cabinet hold the spiritual. Because don't forget, Tim, a lot of the energy is coming from the sitters as well.
But he's right to agree where you say psychologically, because it's using your mind to manipulate, isn't it? You're manipulating everybody what you want to see, like the red light. You know, anybody can move their face. It's like, and I'm not putting anybody down, it's like going into trance, for example. You can put a voice on, you can squint your eyes, close your mouth and say you're Chinese.
But then by the same token, what I would say with transfiguration, and we used to do this as an exercise in a development class after I'd run 8 weeks, whatever. And the last couple of weeks, I always used to do this, is to get someone there and we would see the transfiguration on the face. And what you do, and this is what a lot of sitters don't understand, what you can ask spirit to do is displace it. So literally, the face is there. You ask them to displace it. So you can displace it so you can see the normal face and the other face. Power of suggestion should not be under your 100% right states, because if someone's sitting in a physical circle and they say, oh, I can see this person, I can see that person, other people are then saying, oh, can I see it? Can I see it? And that is not materialization. It's what Tim said. If the figure forms up and everybody sees it and everybody sees the same thing, then there's a good chance that's materialization. All the rest of it is just a bit of phenomena.
You know what, at the end of the day, I think we've all lost our marbles. We're probably all dead and we're seeing spirit which are real. Turn it around the other way. We've all gone nuts.
But even with it all, time and dedication, definitely, Darius, time and dedication, a lot of time and a lot of dedication. But the thing is, even with all this phenomena, Richard, if there's no evidence there, well, it's just phenomena.
I've got a question for everyone, and hopefully maybe Tim or others, Rose and other mediums, including yourself, Marcus. Let's talk about ectoplasm.
Okay.
It was the thing in the 1800s and early 1900s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where is it now?
Well, how many physical circles do you know? Most of them are closed circles, aren't they?
But okay, I'll rephrase that then. So if there are these closed circles and there is all this ectoplasm, why isn't there pictures? Why isn't there like people filming this to say, look, this is not fake. This is what it is. It's not a paper mache doll, which we know they did in the early days.
Oh, and of course they did.
And I find it quite embarrassing that certain people put pictures up of this. You're thinking, yeah, that's a paper mache doll. I can do that. My 6-year-old can do that. So
one of the best ones is of King George, isn't it? That thing of King George.
Mm.
And somebody's holding it on like just a crumpled bit of paper.
Yeah. So where are they? Where is all this phenomenon which we've heard in the books and all these fantastic mediums, but we're not hearing about it now? What you're telling me, it's stopped?
Yeah. The big one used to be the Noah's Ark Society, wasn't it? Noah's Ark Society. That was the biggest physical coordinated network for physical mediumship. But it does take a lot of data, and I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, Pat was saying Rose was saying not the dedication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it does take dedication. As I said, we sat and I'm sure a few people you might know, a psychic artist. He's passed now. Was Dave Cheney, and he sat in that physical circle I was talking about when he first started, and he started his psychic art in the dark. So, and we used to black out. There's no doubt about it. We was all blacked out. Didn't have a red light. Blacked out. And yeah, sorry, we did have red light as well. Come to think of it, now and again. Yeah,
Mm.
and it was of its time. I saw ectoplasm from a later son. There was just two of us in the room. Yeah, maybe, and it, a lot of people see these things, but I always say unless they, any physical phenomena, any movement, any shadows, any mists or whatever, you've got, you've got to realize what's happening. And quite often when spirit are getting close to you, they're also sending you something else. They won't just show you one thing. It's noticing where your thought patterns is, where your feelings are at that particular time to get the information. When they were now, like a fascinating number of people started seeing the deceased loved ones go yeah, 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 Brooklyn, yeah. There's a lot of people that say that. A lot of people have been with people when they've passed and they've seen sort of, the spirit leaving the body. I personally haven't seen that. The word I've personally is echoes. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, yeah. And there's still a lot of dogmatic religions in this day, mate. There's still a lot of people that their minds are closed, really, really closed.
It's a shame, though, isn't it, that people's minds are not there. We get people on our channel who come on from different faiths, religions, and non-believers, and we have to take the abuse. We don't have to take the wrong word, take the abuse, but for me, when I see people come on, I always say just block them instantly. Don't react to them.
Yeah,
just block them, ban them, complain to Facebook, YouTube, or whatever the case may be, and just ignore them. They don't like that. But you don't. Yeah. They come on, but when you throw facts at them, they don't like it.
Yeah.
For me, if you've got to have facts. I think with mediumistic facts again. If you're unsure, if you want to go and see a certain medium, ask friends, have you seen a medium? Were they any good? Sort of thing. Get that recommendation. Go on our directory and have a look. and then I think for me, don't just take it as face value from a medium. Spirit's always said when I've spoken to them, ask questions. Always ask.
Always.
So when we're getting the information from Spirit, we should question that. If we get it verified again and again, then there's got to be some kind of factual information.
Always question. Always question. It's a fantastic question there. Can you put that? Is it Benny Ty just put a question up about guides? And the guides always being Native American English. The guides obviously be read into the Maasai warriors. You're 100% right. I'll tell you now.
I just for everybody who's in Facebook, who can't read the question from Benny, and the question is: when people talk about guides, all the guides seem to be Red Indians or Maasai warriors or a regal person. How come guides aren't farm labourers or pig farmers?
I've been saying that all my life, Benny. I've been saying that all my life, and the thing is, quite often, it's not necessarily knowing your particular guide. The guide's name or personality is not important. It's the message that's important. It's the message that they bring you that's important, and the work that they help you to do is important. And I've always said that. Why is it that always people have got this person, that person, and this famous person, and that famous person? To me, and you think sometimes the most spiritual person would be the pig farmer that you should shovel the pig muck out. And that might be the most... Well, that's true. I know, I nearly said the word then, didn't I? I nearly said the word then. And the thing is, and this is a big thing for me, why does anybody want to know the name of the guide? Why?
Why do they want to know their guide? And for
Yeah,
me, there's
no,
8
the
billion.
name of the guide. The
Yeah.
name of the guide. Oh, what's his name? What's his name? What's important?
Mm. Well,
Is the message important or the name?
there's 8 billion people on this planet, give or take.
Yeah.
So there's got to be 8 billion guides. I like to know where they came from.
Yeah, well,
Because that wasn't 8 million guides
no,
or people.
but Richard, you have to times that by 8, so you've got 64.
Yeah.
Because for every guide that you know, or you recognize, or you get a name for, there is a team behind that person. If you're working mediumistically, there is a team. It's not a guide. There's a team of people that help you. And this is what you've got to understand. It's the message, not particularly the message of survival. It's the message that they bring that, to help you grow spiritually, inspiring you to do good works. And it's not necessarily mediumship. It's the message that they bring, that you have to go out there and you have to grow spiritually. And unless you grow spiritually, what's life worth? So putting a particular name on a guide and putting a famous person, I'm working with this person, I'm working with an ascended master, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What difference does it make who that person is? And I would say that whoever's working with you individually, look at what they're inspiring you to do. And it's that message that it's important, because it's your spiritual growth that they're helping to deal with. There you go. That's my little rant over.
You done? You finished? You happy now?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Because it's been a bugbear of mine, and that's fine. If someone's working with a particular person, that's fine.
But that's your opinion, isn't it? That's how you see it. And I think, yet again, talking about that magical word, opinion, I know that mediums should take the responsibility and say, this is spirit or this is me. Exactly. But they don't. They pass on so much to say, spirit said this, spirit that. You're thinking, they didn't say that. And when I see a medium have a long conversation, they said this, you're thinking, well, that took you like literally 3 seconds, and what you've just explained, what they've just said, was taking 10 seconds. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Just be honest and say
it's down to personal responsibility.
Yeah. And tell people my opinion. This is what I think it is. Stop blaming spirit.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. We are responsible. Each individual is responsible for our actions, our thoughts, and our deeds. And the nonsense that comes out quite often, where people say, "Oh, spirit told me to say that." No, they didn't. What you're doing is passing the responsibility on, and maybe not being responsible enough to filter that information and realize it's part you, part them, part psychic, part this, part that. It's an interblend. And when you lay it down, it is your responsibility, not spirit. It's your responsibility because you're the medium. And if you do not lay that information down in a responsible way, it is you, not spirit.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, interesting times before we carry on, because it's already been over an hour, Marcus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And, what can I say?
Well, all I can say is shut up a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeky. He's a cheeky one, isn't he?
You won't be the first to tell me that, that's for sure.
Saturday, so tomorrow night, we have a demonstration of mediumship. I can't remember who it is. I am the worst. I should not run this production company. I can't remember who's on, who's doing what or anything. Terry, help! Something. So we've got a demonstration on mediumship tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And on Sunday at 11 o'clock, we have our divine service as well. Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. I believe it's the Sunday Sofa as well, with a special guest coming in. And then we have, is it you this Sunday evening, Marcus, for your...
I think I am.
For your mediumship. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I think, yeah.
On Monday at 11 o'clock via Zoom, we have our new show called 11 Z's with Deb, who does readings. And if you are a medium and want to come in and offer your abilities, or even if you're a newbie, you can come in as well. Deb will be on hand, but it's all about giving each other readings. Mainly Deb giving the readings, mind you, but she does allow other people to come in and give readings as well. So that's 11 o'clock for that. So what else? Richard, you're having a goldfish moment. Oh, I tell you what, Joanne, my brain is terrible. Terry's telling me it's Tom Flynn tomorrow. Thank you, Terry. What would I do without that wonderful lady, eh? So, and yes, Marcus, it is on Sunday. We're terrible at us too, aren't we?
Oh, well, what can I say? What can I say?
Yeah, when Cindy's saying that Deb is amazing, absolutely she is. See, that's another medium, isn't it? Who just tells you what she gets told and just says it. And if you come in and say you can't take it, she goes, take it, have it. I don't want it. That's what I feel. You know, I've been told. And it's the honesty I like. When a medium says, okay, doesn't make sense, I'll either go back and find it, but don't make it fit. Don't twist it.
That's it.
Just say, okay, I've got it wrong. Let's move on. I'm human.
Yeah, exactly. And I always say, I was doing something last night online for thing, and I don't know, I got an age or a date, or it said, oh no, it wasn't 81, it was 82. I said, well, it's not the person then, is it? Because they can count. They can count.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
someone was 81, they were 81. They're not going to all of a sudden be 82 when they get there, you know.
No. I've just been told that it's Bill Hughes. Thanks, Mary, on Sunday. So Sunday morning at the Divine Service, it's Bill Hughes. Right. Any lasting comments you want to pass to everyone, Marcus?
Well, the thing is, it's more, if you are developing whatever you're developing, just be you, and realize that Spirit do guide you, but there's a team. It's a team of them that help you, not just a particular guide. And if you get a guide, that's fine, but there'll be a team behind you. And just look at why you want to do it. And if you want to do it for the right reasons, then it will develop. Your abilities will develop. But quite often, Marcus has one of those voices that go for hours. So I wouldn't quite agree with you there, to be honest. And the thing is, it's just being you, and do it your way. Don't let any other medium tell you how to do things. They can guide you and say, look, try this, try that, and if it fits with you, fine. But then if your interpretation, if you receive an information, it has to be your interpretation. One of the saddest thing I ever saw in a circle was that the circle leader used to jump in and interpret the information. And that's quite sad, really, because you've got budding mediums, sort of getting the information. It's up to them to interpret it. Yeah. So just be yourself, and enjoy it.
Absolutely. You talking about budding mediums. We were going back to Deb's show last week, 2 weeks ago at the in Zoom, and Pamela came on, and the evidence she gave was amazing. Yeah. And she's starting out, and other mediums like Stay Shaw as well. All these people that are coming out of which you've taught and helped, along with Kirsty and Matt and SPT, all the knowledge and friendships that they've been building, it's helping one another to have the confidence and saying, you can do this, you have these abilities. Now let's work on it. Just trust in yourself. And if you can trust in yourself, what does Spirit always say? Trust us.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Trust them. And the thing is, as long as you put that information down in a responsible way, if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, just leave it there. Just walk away from it. Because quite often, maybe a couple of weeks later, a month later, a couple of months, somebody will come back to you and say, oh, yeah, that fitted in. I've got this. I can take that. And it's about having that confidence in you. That's all you need, is the confidence to try. That's so wrong. They need to find their way. So that's so wrong, Mark. Sorry, I don't know what I've said there that's so wrong. They need to find their way. Sorry, Mary, I don't know what I've said that's so wrong.
Yeah. Could be anything.
Well, if you can type up, Mary, what you think of, or what you explain, and I'll try to explain it.
But then again, when you say finding their way, they still need guidance, wouldn't they?
Oh, definitely.
Because if you just
And
let a medium,
yeah.
just sorry to interrupt, but I knew of one medium who was, and he's quite open with this. He's a wonderful man. He does mediumship, but he was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He took drugs,
Hmm.
and that was his life at that time. And then he started seeing and hearing spirit, and it turned his life around. But he still has that background, and he's not ashamed of it. He's open about it. But his
Yeah, yeah.
mediumship is very good. But he's never been trained. He's never been in a circle.
Yeah.
And so, do you feel someone like him, who has this wonderful ability and is always spot on, he does it to help people,
Yeah, yeah.
but do you feel that if he had that little bit of guidance, that little bit of training, he would be a better medium? Or do you think just let him find his own way?
It's down to the individual. I wouldn't say just let him find his own way. He will know whether um, the particular someone can help him. Now he might be getting guidance, not necessarily from spirit, from chatting to other people. You don't have to sit in a circle to get guidance. No, you didn't say anything wrong. I was agreeing with that. You the circle. Oh, so right, yeah. Sorry, Mary. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mary. Um, and the thing is that a lot of people are self-taught, and there's nothing wrong with being self-taught. But I would always say, long as you realize that it is your responsibility. So this guy might read books. He might investigate things. So he is learning. He is learning. The gap between beginner and establishment is a lot smaller than some people will have. Will have you think? You're 100% right there, Tim. You're 100% right. And quite often, it's just getting that little bit of the jigsaw puzzle into that person's psyche, them realizing how they're receiving that information, them being them, because they've got preconceived ideas of what certain mediums have told them. And the thing is about being you and then working with that mediumship.
Here's a
So,
question for you, for Marcus, because I think like we're going to keep going on here.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
go
what us two are like when we get chatting.
yeah.
Um, what are the dangers then if you're in a trance state,
Uh-huh.
transfiguration, deep
Yeah, yeah.
meditation or something, and something happens, like a spirit comes in or someone jolts you, or is it dangerous? Can it be dangerous?
Yeah, well, yes, it can be dangerous, and there's no doubt about it. Depending
How?
on the level of trance. Well, because if you have anybody in an altered state of consciousness, where someone's going into either a deep trance or whatever, and then you get the classic example would be Helen Duncan, wouldn't they, when they broke in when she was working as a materialization medium. It's because what you're trying to do is get that person in a secure atmosphere or secure surrounding. So if someone throws someone at someone and they're in a deep trance, then obviously it could be dangerous. There's no doubt about it. But then by the same token, you've got you've got your group of helpers with that particular medium as well, and you've got to try to put the atmosphere or the surroundings that's going to be conducive for that type of mediumship. It's just like if you work in a rostrum, and I've had this in the past, you work in a rostrum, and then someone starts shouting or talking loud about the message they've just had, and it can be off-putting, or you can just work through it. You can just work through it, but you wouldn't want to carry on with that type of disruption. So, by the same token, if you're sitting for, say, transfiguration or physical mediumship, you would have a circle leader. You'd have someone there that would explain to people what can or what can't be done, which is only normal, polite. How do I put it? Polite behavior, really. But then some people you know, dangerous in what way? Well, if you can imagine, Terry, if someone's sort of sitting for materialization, they're in a deep trance, and spirit then are using all different energies in and around it, and then all of a sudden, someone either does something untoward or whatever, then that energy's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? And it's got to either go back or whatever. Because the mediums in a trance, they also hide the state sensitive. Yeah, exactly, Tim.
I'm going to read this one out.
Yeah, go
on. My brain is gone dead. Marcus, because the medium is in a entranced state, they are also in a heightened state of sensitivity. So if there is a sudden noise or some aggressive activity, this counts shock to the system of the medium because of the heightened state of sensitivity.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. 100%. And it's not just the sensitivity of, because don't forget, the energy that's created in and around, especially if someone's sitting either in a trance state or for materialization or for transfiguration, they're using the energies of the sitters as well. So all of a sudden, you've got all this energy about. You've got this person in an altered state of consciousness. Technically, they allowing their body, the physical body, to be used in a different way from the normal physical activities. So they are sort of like not really exiting the body, but you will have some trance mediums say, "Or I feel as if I'm in a different room and not in control of it." So they've offered that control to spirit, and that control then, and that energy of control is spirit are controlling it. So all of a sudden you've got something happening. The person's then got to take control of the body as well, and as Tim has explained there, with a heightened sensitivity, and it can disorientate them. And I would put it down to when you go into a deep meditation or a guided meditation, some people just don't want to come back. They're there and they're trying to come back, and this is why the circle leader will say, "Oh, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, take a drink of water, whatever, make sure you're all the way back." We're talking about something other than the physical as well, but it will affect the physical body. It will affect it.
See, then that obviously for me that brings in a lot more questions, because if that happens and spirit know that's going to happen because there's no time, so then they can perceive it, or whatever the case may be, then why didn't they protect the person? Why didn't they say to these individuals, right, lock the door, don't let anybody in because this is going to happen? He's going to be shocked. If they know
but that's what they used to do, didn't they?
Yeah, but if they know that's going to happen, why don't they take measures? So it brings me back to my skepticism of trust again and time issues, and let's not get into it tonight, because I go into one again about my theory on time.
But what you're saying is right, and to greater or lesser degree, if spirit got full control on that, and I would agree with you that they would know that this is going to happen, or they would know. But then you could go down that rabbit hole, and you could go, if pigs could fly, the price of bacon would go up.
Well, yeah, because you've got to catch them.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's always question. So it's only my opinion, and it's only Tim's opinion, and the knowledge, hopefully it comes from a bit of a basis of knowledge, but it is only our opinion that says, well, if you do this, you do that. And you've got to create the right conditions, because don't forget, I found guides bring you back slowly, but I found transfusion when I'm with fellow healer. Joanne, some people come back slowly, some people come back quick. Some people can alter a state of consciousness within, like flicking a switch. Why did you mute everybody last night to protect the media?
Just Tim's just put a comment up for those who are in YouTube, because we are broadcasting to YouTube and Facebook, by the way, everyone. That we did a trance evening last night, and we're going to be doing 6 more mediums in trance as an experiment to ask a set amount of questions, and these questions are going to be asked the same every single fortnight to different mediums to see what response we get. We're not there to try and trick a medium. We're not there trying to make them look silly or anything like that. And if you're a regular, you know I've said all this before, so I'm not going to repeat it. But we've just been talking about protecting the medium and the guide and so forth. And Tim's just come back and said, Richard, why did you mute everybody last night to protect the medium? And my answer to that is that because we recorded the session last night, I'm going to transcribe everything that's been said and put it into a document. And then that way, when we go along to the second medium, the third medium, the fourth medium, it's going to be the same questions, no one talking over it. So then it's nice and clear. If anybody wants to come back and say, can I see the footage after everything's been put down into documents, then they can do. So there's no one else interrupting. If I'm asking a question and someone then rudely interrupts or whatever the case may be, there's a noise in the background, there's a horn somewhere or whatever it is, in my view, I can disrupt the flow of the questioning. So for having more of a professional Q&A session, you've got to deal with noises, interruptions, and so forth. That's the reason why I did that last night, Tim.
Who was the trans medium last night?
I'm not going to say.
Oh no, that's sorry.
It's just that
no, that's fine.
I haven't been given permission to tell everybody who was on, and it's through all the other weeks as well. The reason why we're not telling anybody who the mediums are is because I don't really want people to go out finding them, watching the videos, watching their trance, and all of a sudden they start getting a biased opinion before they actually watch the show. That's the reason why I do that. Anyway,
Tim's just put a comment up there. Yeah. But by the same token, some trans mediums, you could be banging a drum around them and it wouldn't affect them.
Yeah. For example, I always reminds me of watching Colin Fry once, and I've told the story many, many times. Tina Place was there at the same time. We didn't know each other then, and I was near the front, and this was going back a good 20 years ago, if not more. I can't recall the length, but it doesn't matter because there's no time. Anyway, moving on. And he was sitting there in trance for about 45 minutes, and he had a very bad cold. His nose was running, and instinct tells us, if we sniff up or we wipe it or whatever, nothing. Literally just sat there. And when his manager came along and wiped his nose and his mouth, because it was going into his mouth, he didn't flinch, didn't do anything. He just carried on talking. Now, if that was you and I, if someone was in pretending to be trance and you walked up to them, they would feel a presence coming up. And if someone went to touch them, they would flinch. So if they were in true trance and you did just touch them, as Tim just said, it would be a bomb going off. You'd just carry on as though nothing's happened because you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I saw a very good trance medium in my, I had invited into my house and we had about 20 people here. Paddy Sterrett, his name was, from Ashley Association of Spiritualist Healers. And he had a lot of mobility problems. And when he was in trance, the only thing that moved was his head, literally. And when he was out of trance, he couldn't stop moving his body because of his disability. And it blew me away. I had an argument with his control, and people say, no, you can't argue with a person's control. I said, well, of course you can. He was a Catholic priest, and he said something that I didn't wholeheartedly agree with, so I was questioning him, and it was a great dialogue. It was really, really good, really, really good. But he was in deep trance. He was out of it, which is great. But there are so many different levels of trance, and I'll be honest with you, Richard. I enjoy all the different levels, experiencing all the different levels, because people have to start. They have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Benny Saran asks, would a spirit deceive a medium to cause retribution to someone on this side?
Personally, I wouldn't think so, because I don't think spirit will deceive a medium. It's a conscious cooperation between you and the group of the people that you're working with. So if I ever thought that the people in spirit would deceive me, I'd never work as a medium again. I'd never work for them again. So they don't deceive you.
But how would you know how would you know they're not deceiving you though?
Well, as I said, if I found out that they were deceiving me, then that'd be the end game, wouldn't it?
See,
why would you work with someone that would deceive you?
I would be a mischievous spirit. I know I would. I would come in and give someone lottery ticket numbers which weren't real. I was singing their ear all day, completely off key, which I do now.
But then the medium, if they had discipline, would just push it to the side, and you wouldn't get through.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I'll push them through. All right.
It's a good question. but the thing is that this is what you've got to know who you're working with in the context of the message and the reason that you're working with spirit. The thing is, if you're the type of person that hasn't got discipline, and you deal with frivolous things and whatever, and you're giving this, that, the other, it's like having a gossip, isn't it? A gossip in spirit and a gossip this side. Would you want to work that way? I wouldn't.
Hi, Janie. Nice to see you.
Hello, Janie.
Hi, Wendy as well. Wendy Lindsay. I forgot to say hi to her as well. It's yet again, it goes back in circles, isn't it? It's talking about trust.
Oh, you wouldn't, Stace. Oh, you wouldn't, Stace. No.
For those in Facebook, Stace just said, I would love you as my guide, Richard. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah,
I would be so terrible. I really would.
Yeah, well, you are with Rachel, because when she's working, I don't know what you're saying in yours, all of a sudden she starts laughing.
I am a big kid, really. Just to tell you a quick story, I went for a dentist checkup today, and they put this tube which sort of was lit over my lip into my gums to sort of suck the saliva. And when she moved her hands away, I was moving up and down doing a tune, and I was just giggling away. She turned and said, I've never met a patient who just wants to have fun making silly noises with the air. I said, you've got to have fun in a dentist, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because I've never known anything like it. But that is really, that is my sense of humour, because there's too much negativity. There's
100%.
We got to have a laugh and a giggle, and I like to have a laugh and a giggle. As long as it's not nobody taking the mickey out of me, Heidi, then I am fine.
But that's it, isn't it? It's just having fun and just trying to raise your vibration. No matter what troubles that we're going through, we can always smile. Always smile.
Absolutely, and we need that smile, especially what's happened. People are now going out a bit more. They're seeing friends more, and they're having the time of their life. They're enjoying. For me, that's a learning experience. When you get to see people every day, and you see them every day, you talk to them every day, it becomes a routine. When you don't see someone for a while, and you don't get the hugs or the kisses or the cuddles or the personal private conversations, not over the phone, not over Skype or anything, I mean in person, because then you can react with the way they are with their body language. But you think about how much lessons and learning we've had the opportunity to have in this last nearly year and a half, I suppose, the opportunity to go to Open University, to go to college online and study something. And when people say, I haven't got time, there's been no excuse, really.
And I think a lot of people have learned a lot through this pandemic, to be honest. And I think you're 100% right, Christine. The laughter is definitely the best medicine. Definitely the best.
Stitches.
And I had all space in another sense of it. Yeah, and the thing is that if we're true to ourselves, I've said this before, but if we're true to ourselves, when we've been through the mill and we've had some difficult times, if we've learned from that, we look back and we just say thank you for that experience, because now I can use that experience to help someone, and that's what it's all about. you know, life is not a bed of roses, and if it was, it's quite prickly anyway. But it's trying to be as positive as you can. I just had a big lesson in discipline.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh,
And I think
definitely there.
it's a good, and with all what's happening, nobody's going out. You can now. I was speaking to Polly yesterday, and she was telling me about her classes that she's going to start doing again in person because
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
missed. She refused to do the online courses because she wants to be with the person. So if anything happens, she can intervene, she can support and be there, sort of thing, just in
yeah,
case.
yeah,
Um, but I say she's looking forward to her new classes now. And it was nice. I think when she did her classes before in the studio, it was such a lovely atmosphere because people could talk afterwards about their experiences, what
yeah,
happened, and you've got that instant response. Yes,
yeah.
we've got it on Zoom and
Night, Rose.
what we do, but good night, Rose. But yet again, it's that physical thing, isn't it?
Oh,
When you,
yeah, and quite often, as you just said, Richard, within classes, getting the feedback and people putting their experiences there helps other people as well within that, within that class.
yeah, definitely, absolutely right. I think it's time for us to say good night. We've gone way over.
Oh, if we, oh, there you go then. What can I say?
Wow, it's
Same here with the classes. Oh, yes, Rose. Yeah,
yeah. And you think very quickly, you think about all the churches that had to shut their doors and couldn't have those people
yes,
who
yeah,
came in off the street for guidance and for help.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. And this is why I think some of the Zoom will and the online stuff will continue, and hopefully it'll send more people to the churches now.
I think it will. Yeah, a lot of them, I believe, are missing their church, missing the community spirit there. And I know a lot of churches, like Wimbledon, for example, they've tried to do both by open up the church with a limited amount of people and go streaming online.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
And having that is it's bringing the two worlds, or one way, three worlds together, isn't
yeah,
it? Sort of
yeah,
thing.
oh, yeah,
Mm, absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you ever so much, Marcus, for joining me tonight, and everybody at home.
yeah.
I've
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed this. It's been a thought-provoking evening, hopefully, and just a couple of giggles and made us think, maybe.
Well, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
people thinking for themselves and developing for themselves and being the best person they can be.
yeah. And it's nice, and I don't mean this in any way or trying to be funny or anything, but getting different people's opinions, like yourself, like Tim, and like Rose and Mary and so forth, reading their comments, it shows a community based. That was one of the reasons why SPTV was born because I got fed up with going onto some pages and all I could see was people asking for readings. Can I have a reading, please? Can I have a reading, please? Or
Yeah,
sometimes not even saying please or even and hello. Or a little tip for you, by the way. If you come onto this channel and you don't say hi and you just ask for a reading, that comment is ignored. But don't tell anyone. You think, why did my name get shouted out? It's because it was ignored. So yeah, I thought, really, where's the community base here? Why isn't everybody talking to each other? It was just me, 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 me. That's all they wanted. And when we decided to go live, I was very adamant that we encourage and we embrace people having conversations, drawing the mediumship.
right, Sally.
And for me, I think that's why SPTV works and why we
Yeah,
have.
oh, yeah,
So if you're on Facebook and you're thinking, well, I don't see much comments, you need to go on YouTube because that's where most of the VIPs go. And the conversations there range from food right up to food.
we're
But
the community. We're a family. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right, Stace.
it
We're
is.
all one
Yeah,
family.
and
We're all
it's
one family.
and we open up Zoom on just randomly sometimes, just for a good chin wag and a laugh. I might do some fake readings, and Pamela or Stace might do some readings, or Terry or whoever's there, and you're always welcome. You come in, you may be a stranger, but you go in and we can guarantee you a good giggle, a good laugh, and you're there and you're going to be supported by people, by complete strangers. And I think this is why this channel works. It is bringing spiritual people together, and that's our ethos. There you go.
Good
I think,
ethos it is.
yeah,
Good
it is.
ethos it is.
It is, yeah. And people like Terry just come up, and Veronica. Look at the two people and Stace. They're the three people who, behind the scenes, do a lot of work for SBTV because I can't manage it on my own. So they volunteer their time. So a huge thank you to all three. Terry does a lot of the admin work through the social media, sorting out the VIPs, giving them a slap a few times when they're naughty with their spanner. Then you have Stace, who does all the admin side of it for the directory, and then Veronica does all the bookings and helps with the directory as well. And I just sit back, don't do nothing. I wish. So yeah, it's a group of completely strangers coming together and becoming one to help everybody else. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Veronica's just said quite a few churches have opened up and are fully booked.
Yeah.
That's all good stuff. All good stuff we're getting there. Yeah.
Let's hope, though, that these churches continue to stream at the same time and not push it to one side, because it's those people at home who can't go out, or maybe bedbound or disabled or whatever, or have mental health issues or society issues or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that, like SBTV, you reaching the world as opposed to just a small geographical area, isn't it?
Yeah.
A cup of 9FT. What's 9FT?
I don't know. I don't drink tea.
9FT.
Oh, of tea. Oh, it's the of tea. I think that's meant to be
is it of tea?
The 9 is next to the O.
I don't drink it. I've drunk tea once since 1977. And that was when I was in Iraq in 2019, and I had to drink it as a cultural thing because I got invited to the driver's family who was in a refugee camp. And this guy was saying to me, I said, I don't drink tea. He said, you take one for the team. And I drank this little glass of tea.
One for the team. Yeah, it's all right. There's a hand grenade there. Take one for the team.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah. And he was winding me up. And they even took a little video of it. The coordinator there. And then we drove back to De Hook. And she said, oh, where do you want to go? And I said, I need a coffee. And we walked into this coffee shop, and a lovely coffee shop. And this guy came up to me, and I went up to him, I said, oh, thank you for the coffee. He said, oh, yeah, I know you needed it because I saw the little video that they posted. This coordinator over there's got like 15,000 viewers in De Hook, and she posted this little video of me drinking this tea, first time in all those years. Yeah.
Talking about tea, I'm gonna plug my friend's little shop. I say a friend.
Oh, yes,
it's a colleague, but I class her friend because she's absolutely wonderful. And I took your lovely wife and yourself there on Tuesday, I believe. I think it was Tuesday. Was it Wednesday? Whatever day it was. Anyway, it's called the 1940s, and it's a little tea shop, I should say, in Havant near Portsmouth. If you're ever passing or in that way, ring them up the day before and book, because it gets very, very busy. It's lovely. It looks when you walk through the door, you are stepping back in time. You are stepping back to 1940.
And I can confirm that it is an absolutely gorgeous place. Absolutely good. And they do serve coffee as well.
Yeah, they do. All homemade cakes, all homemade food. And Jackie, who runs it, if you give her a bit of cheek, she will slap you. So you're warned, but in a loving, affectionate way. She loves to have a giggle. I think once a month she has Jenny Doherty, who goes there. Great medium. In fact, we have Jenny Doherty coming on our channel next month. So if you haven't put your name down, it's under the event section. Put it down now. Strongly, highly recommend it, because I've seen Jenny many a times, and she is so funny, and her mediumship is so accurate. It is a pure joy to watch and experience. In fact, we was in the coffee shop, Marcus, where the 1940s tea place, and she was doing a demonstration of mediumship there, and I managed to squeeze in. Yeah. It was packed. You could not move. I had to sit on the stairs. I wish I never said that, because you get to hear all the comments now. Naughty step, which is on the naughty step.
Yeah, naughty step, yeah.
Move over, Heidi. But I was sitting there, and she did bring someone through for me, and the evidence that she gave, she would never, ever known. It's impossible. And so, yeah, for me, the evidence that she gave was amazing. So she's coming on SBTV in a couple of weeks' time. It's going to all be via Zoom. It's only going to be in a certain amount of people. And once the show starts, I'm not letting anybody else in because we want to keep it closed. If you do want to come along, you have to join the SBTV fan page, and the information on Zoom will all be placed on there. Anything that we do with Zoom is placed on the SBTV fan page, so you have to be a member. That way we can monitor who comes and who goes and try and keep it secure and safe for everybody. And that's the reason why we do that. Right, I'm definitely going now.
Okay.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for everybody coming on and having a little chat and putting the comments up. So, good night.
Yeah, where's the ending on this? There it is.
And again, thank you very much for the hospitality last Tuesday, which was very much appreciated.
It was nice to see you, and Maureen taking you around the little market that we had here. And I did buy the some bread pudding. I was there.
I did notice. Yes.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't the best bread pudding I've ever had.
Well, it was a big chunk of it, though, wasn't it? It was a fair old chunk.
Yeah, that took me 2 days to eat that because So yeah. Anyway,
Terry.
Good night, everybody. Thanks very much. The Jenny Doherty is online, by the way. Sorry, Jenny, I've just seen that it is online. So thanks ever so much, Marcus. Thank you, everybody, and
thanks,
good
Richard.
night.
Good night.